I love Madea so much.
Thank you, thank you. Isn't it good to laugh, though?
It really feels good.
Yeah, so much going on in the country. We just need to laugh. So it's a silly movie. I want people to go out and just laugh, people. Just laugh. Just laugh.
I love what you wear your eyes. By the way, it's not scary either.
No, it's not scary.
It's Madea.
It's totally Madea, totally fun, lots of big laughs, and just really, really silly.
So tell me, what's the premise here? Where do we find Madea in this episode?
You find her just trying to help her granddaughter who's out running around with these frat boys at this party, kind of like a Burning Man or something, and she goes out there, and then all of these people come out of the woods, and I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's just a lot, just silly fun.
It's good.
Yeah.
And you, as usual, you're playing, like, you're writing, producing, directing, playing 3 characters. I mean, you probably cooked all the food on set as well.
I did not, but I did sweep up a couple of things. Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of it's ad-lib.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you do that? I mean, how does that even work?
I'm sitting there, then I got the stand in here and another stand in there when I'm dressed as Madea, then I'll dress as Joe, then I'll dress as Brian, and I'm talking to them and ad-libbing, and we cut it all together, and it turns out to be pretty funny.
I don't know how you pull it off. I mean, it's incredible. How long do you think you'll play Madea?
I am determined to not be her age playing her, but we'll see what happens. As long as people want to see it, she'll be around. But I'm telling you, as soon as they stop coming, this broad is dead.
Yeah.
And when people say, Monique, where have you been? It's not that I haven't been on TV or been in the movies because I've been blackballed, as Mr. Daniels has said. The offers just didn't make sense, Dawn. So, again, the phones didn't stop ringing and the scripts didn't stop coming, but the offers that were associated with them were offers that made me say, guys, I can't accept that. Because if I accept that and I won the award, what are my sisters being offered that didn't win the award or wasn't nominated? And what does it say to the little girl who's not here yet, that if we continue to accept these low offers, however do we make it different and make a change?
Okay, I want to play this. This was Lee Daniels on this very broadcast last night. Let's listen.
Okay.
We were on the campaign, and she was making unreasonable demands. And, you know, and she wasn't thinking, this is when reverse racism, I think, happens. You know, I said, you have to thank the producers of the film. You have to thank the studio. And I think she didn't understand that. And I think that, and I said, listen, people aren't going to respond well if you don't. So I love her, and I've spoken to her, and she's brilliant. And I like working with brilliant people. But sometimes artists get in their own way. I think that there were demands that were made from her on the Precious campaign that everyone knows about that hurt her, and I told her that.
Can she change that?
I mean, if she plays ball, you got to play ball. This is not just show. It's show business, and you've got to play ball.
What's your reaction, Monique? You didn't play the game. You had difficult demands.
I want to address it for the order that it went in. And when Mr. Daniels said I had these demands, it shocked me because I was saying to the screen, Dawn, please ask them what the demands were. And actually, there were no demands. There was a request from the movie studio, and they called and requested that I fly to France for the Cannes Film Festival. I simply said I respectfully declined, because if you can remember at the time, there was a talk show called The Monique Show. I was doing a comedy tour. I was actually in the award season of the awards, and I'm also a wife, and I'm a mommy. So when they called, I had a couple days just downtime. I wanted to spend that with my husband and my kids. So when we said we respectfully declined, the movie studio called back again. And they said, okay, well, we'll upgrade her hotel room. And my husband simply said again, we respectfully decline. She's gonna take this time with her family.
Yeah.
Well, when the third call came and they said, what is it gonna take to get Monique to France, to the Cannes Film Festival? And my husband said, is there a number associated with it? And they said, oh, we would never pay for anyone to do any promotions for a movie. And we said we understood, because what people didn't know was I was paid $50,000 to do the movie Precious. And it really wasn't about the money, and I'm not complaining because I signed up to do it with my friend.
Yeah. But
So
you're saying that because you didn't have the money to do this on your own. Is that what you're saying? That you needed to feed your family and pay your bills?
I think that's what America says.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you once again for joining us on this edition of Loving the Skin I'm In. I am Demetra K, and I'm here with Donovan, hiding your hand and throwing rocks and hiding your hand, Sadiq, I should say. So today we're going to just jump right into it. Our question comes from a listener/viewer, and they wanted us to address this specific question. And I'll go ahead and read it as soon as I can open my phone because it said I entered the wrong password. Okay, so it says, and I'm going to try to read it as best I can, and I'll go ahead and clean it up a little bit. It says, I have a show topic for you. How about you explore gay male privilege? In other words, why are Tyler Perry's, and I just like to say this too, this is me, we don't know that Tyler Perry is gay. We don't know. Well, he hasn't said he was gay. People are saying he's gay, but we don't know he's gay. So last thing I need is for Tyler to be coming and trying to sue us.
You got guys that go to prison and have gay sex in there, but they say they're not gay. They're only gay when they go to prison.
Well, we don't know if Tyler Perry's gay. We ain't seen a man have no gay sex and none of that. So I'm just putting that out there.
All right.
Because
you don't want to defame the man.
No, it ain't that. It just he hasn't said as far as we know, he's heterosexual. You know. So moving along, and so it says, why are Tyler Perry's and Lee Daniels' film works more supported over someone like Mona Scott? She created Love and Hip Hop. Because if you ask me, Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry's works are just as, I think they're trying to say they did degradate or, what am I trying to say? Because it's the way they wrote it. Yeah, there you go. If not worse. Even though I hate Love and Hip Hop, I know that the people on there are ignorant and misguided. So what are Tyler Perry's and Lee Daniels' excuses? All right, so what I did was, because I like to, break it on down and do a little research and just kind of bring a little bit more of light to people's inquiries. So anyway, I took it upon myself to watch a film about gay Hollywood. So it's like a history of gay Hollywood. And so back in the day, on the exception of, I guess, motion pictures in the early 1900s, like gay people have always been around. It's not been a secret. However, people didn't want to see homosexuality lived out on the big screen. And so even though there were gay men, a lot of leading gay men, like your Rudolph Valentinos, your Randolph Scotts, your Cary Grants, they even said that it was known that, he was the idol, Dean, the white guy.
Oh, he played
James
in
Dean.
James Dean.
James Dean.
Yeah, he played in his big block. Rebel Without a Cause.
James Dean was rumored to be bisexual. Marlon Brando has said it out of his own mouth that he loved boys too. And so
he partake in a little bit.
He dabbled a little bit. So there's quite a bit. And so people didn't want to see gay stuff on the screen. So what the studios did, they came out with production codes saying, hey, not over here. Even in your private life, we don't want to hear about it. If we see it, you're going to be fired because you, as a leading man, you have an image to uphold.
Right, like Rock Hudson when that came out. That was a shock to a lot of people.
It really was, because back then they had to suppress who they were in order to keep working. Right. And in a lot of cases, they were blackballed. And so throughout history, it became a little bit more acceptable. And now we're in a
hell no, it's never acceptable.
Well, it is. I mean, because look at a lot of the gay things that are going on in Hollywood. You have Ellen, who has one of the most successful talk shows ever. There's a lot of gay executive and producers and, just bigwigs in Hollywood now. And so times have changed. All right, so now they have a little bit more control. So you guys, whoever posed this question, do you want to know the truth?
Yes.
All right, the truth is
we're about the truth.
We're about the truth. So if you're familiar with Frances Cress Welsing, go ahead and look up her stuff. She's deceased now, R.I.P. She was a well-known psychologist for the plight of black people. She's done the Phil Donahue show, the Hidden Color series. So she's very well known, and she wrote the ISIS papers, which talked about, it talked about a lot of stuff, but just to break it down to this point, it talked about black men having the ability to annihilate white people genetically, because black people are superior. Let me get it right, superior genetically, and so a lot of this comes from the white man's jealousy of black men. So why is that? Why is gay homosexuality, as far as black people, or like your Tyler Perry's and your Lee Daniels over a Mona Scott, why is that? And again, I'm not saying Tyler's gay. Why is that being promoted more now? Because if you keep homosexuality in front of black people, then it becomes, to especially younger generation. And listen, I don't have a dog in the fight as far as homosexuality is not my thing. I'm a straight woman, so I don't care what anybody else does.
That's right.
But,
Dee takes it any way she can get it.
from my man.
Right.
Okay. And so if you keep that before, especially the young people, they begin to think that's acceptable. Not that it's not, but then...
Well, if you think about it, there's, in my opinion, this is my opinion, that's another thing, before we even get into this, I know we're doing the podcast, but this is for the people that are watching on the internet and stuff like that, fuck you. And I'm going to say that to those people that come on to people's pages, make stupid-ass comments, like you're going to fucking run the page, and, say what you're going to say. This is our show. We're going to put it out the way we like it. If you don't like what we're fucking saying, keep it moving. Just fucking keep it moving. But we're going to say our truth, and we're going to go as far as we need to. And I know for me to be like going off. No, but there's a lady that I follow. Her name is The Real Yvonne.
Yeah.
And I'm not a woman basher or anything like that, but, some women that are strong women that have good points. If you have a good point with me, I'm going to roll with it. And she's right. Fuck you. And fuck anybody that looks like you. Because the bottom line is, if you don't like what we're saying, keep it moving. I don't see you donate money to this fucking show. So keep your dumbass comments to yourself, and we're going to keep moving forward. Go ahead.
I'm scared.
What the problem is?
Okay, I got sorry.
So go ahead. I wanted to put that disclaimer out there for you.
Let me fan off, goddammit.
Because I know I'm a nice guy.
No, but sometimes you just gotta let it go. That was your woosah moment.
That was my woosah moment, because I know somebody's gonna come back, even though you've researched this and are putting out your opinions to your truth. They're gonna come back ignorant as a motherfucker, no college degree, probably a fucking high school dropout. Not all of you guys, but you know what I'm talking about. How you gonna be in the goddamn ghetto and tell me how to deal with real estate?
You wilded, but
okay. But am I wrong? So, for those of you, like I said, you guys know who I'm talking about. Fuck you and anybody that looks like you. Continue.
All right. As I was saying, now there's a commercial break from the fuck you section.
Right,
okay, so
and that's not even how I really feel. But go ahead.
Okay, so the question was again, why is somebody like Tyler Perry, who I'm not saying is gay, and Lee Daniels more successful than a Mona Scott, who they, to me, I'll just keep it real, they all put out a bunch of bullshit. If you ask me, Tyler Perry, he, as we know, he's known for Madea, he runs around in a dress, and he has all these wildly successful Madea movies. Madea goes to jail, Madea does Halloween, Madea does anal. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that, but I'm sure it's next.
Yeah.
And he's worth $600 million. He is worth $600 million. He owns, I believe, the first black-owned studio, like fully fledged black-owned studio. This man went from sleeping in his car to where he is now. He did all the stage plays and all that, as I said. So, yes, I would say he's pretty successful. Lee Daniels, as you guys, most of you might know, he is known for, he came to prominence, I think, with Precious.
Yeah, Precious, the Butler.
The Butler, the Woodsman. Now he shows Empire and stars a lot of homosexuality in these shows. And he's worth, it said, between $5 to $25 million. I really couldn't get what he's worth. And so Mona Scott, as I said, she does the Love and Hip Hop series. She's even worked with Trump on The Ultimate Merger. I mean, she's done quite a bit of things. She's known for working with people like Mariah Carey, Busta Rhymes, Q-Tip, all these people. So she's successful, but she's only worth $30 million. And so that goes back to, there's value in promoting homosexuality in the gay community. Per Frances Cress Welsing, she talks about how white people, and it's true. I mean, it's not something that's made up. It is true. It's been proven true that white people know that they are genetically inferior to black people. And so if you stop black people from procreating...
Yeah, well, you got to think about it. A white person mixed with a white person can't create a black
Right, you can't get black from white.
Right.
You cannot. So that's a fact. So we know that when as you're going to go look for a Becky, but you're not going to really go look for a Becky, you go get with a Becky, and I should not be, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but so you go get with a white woman and you procreate, does the baby come out more white or does it get brown?
It gets brown.
Right, so.
Unless it's albino.
Right, which is a recessive gene.
Right,
You know,
but black and black can get an albino.
True. But, because
we can do it all.
Because
right.
things come from color.
If you take all of the colors and you combine them, of the rainbow, all the colors you could possibly think of, and you put it in a pot, it is dark.
Right. So you said you can't get black from white. However, you can get white from black. Right. And so, to a lot of people, this just sounds like a bunch of nonsense, but do your research. I mean, as Donovan always says, don't believe me, go see for yourself. Yeah. Go look for yourself, but that's what it is. Hollywood is like, okay, Lee Daniels, and I'm not saying Tyler is gay, but Tyler here. Go produce all this, homosexuality stuff. Tyler, we love it when you run around in a dress, hoo ha ha hee hee. You're so funny.
And downgrade black men and all that.
Downgrade black men. And then
put us in the worst light
ever. And then look at the music, what they're calling now mumble rap. Right. But what do these dudes look like?
Homeless.
And they're dressed in dresses.
Right.
Their nails are painted. They got on, these beads and stuff in their hair, the pants.
Effeminate.
Yeah, so very effeminate. So that's what you put before the people.
Okay, so in answer to the question.
So the answer to the question is value in promoting homosexuality in Hollywood. That's why these men are so successful. That's why. And you think about when we were coming up in the 90s.
No, I came up in the 2000s.
Yeah, no, your old ass was there, okay? You was there.
All right.
But, did you see the X-Clan dressing in dresses?
Absolutely not. Afrocentric.
Was Chuck D and the Public Enemy, the S1Ws, Professor Kirk, all of them, were they in dresses?
I remember RCC when KRS-One and Public Enemy came to RCC. Yeah.
So, you didn't see them dressing with makeup and all that. And listen, no shade to people who like to cross-dress. That's your thing. But when that music was pro-black, it was fight the power, was, be something.
Stand up for yourself. Get out of the hood. Do better.
They didn't. But what happens when that kind of music is promoted? Black people start to unify. Yeah. Black people now start to take their money away from the very people, the oppressors. We start to say, okay, you're right. There's no, I love myself.
Yeah.
Like my shirt says, real wealth is knowledge of self.
Right. Well, let me say this. There had somebody that came on the show, or they made a comment on one of our shows. I think it was your show, actually. And they had said, oh, my God, that's a fine woman. They said, oh, my God, it wasn't out. They said, they liked your eye. They liked your big lips. They said, that's a fine woman, right?
All natural.
They said they love the way you do your hair.
Okay.
Well,
I like, thank you. Yeah. Whoever it was, thank you.
But they said what really they liked and made you very attractive. And like I said, you're an attractive woman.
I'm all right.
Your mom was gorgeous. There's no doubt. Because I remember when I saw your mom, I was like this. Holy shit! That's how gorgeous her mom was, because her mom had that natural, beauty. And I can see, but of course, she wasn't a loyal woman, because
the story's coming.
Yes, she left.
Gonna produce the story.
She left a veteran. You know that thing about Johnny got your girl and gone? That's exactly what happened. Thus, Dee and her sister and brother are here. However, so she took the rebel versus the hero. Anyway, so they said what made you attractive is the fact that you are talking blackness, and you're so comfortable in who you are as a person, versus I don't see you running around with fake boobs. Well, you don't need to, but fake boobs, fake ass, twerking, tight clothes. Well, you do wear tight shorts.
They're not that tight.
No. But you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. You're using your natural, and you don't have to do like a lot of the. It's unfortunate. I don't know if I said that right, but you're putting a lot of these younger women to shame, and that's sad.
Well, and whoever said that, I thank you for that compliment. I'm very humbled by that. But I would just say this: we have to get to a point to where we are not afraid to speak our truth, and just really be unapologetic about being black. Because there's a time, I think for most of us, until we really learn who we were as black people, we were kind of afraid to speak our truth because it's like, well, that's not very popular. I don't want to offend white people because if I, speak about me loving my black self, then white people are going to get offended. It's not about that. I'm not going to apologize for the way they receive it. But there's power in us educating ourselves. Like, I think with a little powder and paint, where they used to say powder and paint won't make you what you ain't. But nowadays it will. Anybody can be cute and gorgeous, but at the end of the day, after you're cute and gorgeous, what are you bringing to the table?
Right.
How am I helping those who are around me if I'm just cute? I tell my daughter all the time, don't rest on pretty.
Right. I mean, arm candy is great to have, but at the end of the day, once you've been seen, what else do you bring?
Yeah, I mean, so, that is the best answer I have as to why Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels are more promoted over Ramona Scott. Again, like I said, they all produce garbage. I haven't heard or seen anything from them. Now, I will give Tyler Perry this. I've watched a lot of his, Madea plays and stuff like that, and he does offer a lot of wisdom and insight, telling women and, because he is pro-woman. I would say he's
very
more
pro-woman. But, but when you got to tear down your own, fuck you, Tyler Perry.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I said, he can put out what he wants. I don't have a problem with that, but I also have a right to say fuck you. Because I am not, that's why I'm not unapologetic about supporting Tommy Sotomayor. Because as a man,
now this is when we gonna fight.
Right. No, but I'm not defending him, but I'm unapologetic about him because he's coming from his truth as a man. And as a man, I agree with a lot of what he says. Do I like his delivery? No. Not every black woman's a bitch and a hoe and, whores and stuff like that. However, what he's saying and what he's exposing in our community, he's standing up and saying, you take a look at this. What do you think?
I mean, and I agree with some of his stuff because somehow I happened upon one of his videos this weekend. I think because you sent me so much of it, it popped up in my YouTube.
Yes, come to the dark side.
And I did see, no, I'm not, you're right, it's the damn dark side, okay? Tariq Nasheed calls him crispy.
Yeah. But we shouldn't be tearing down each other. But if you're going to do that, you're going to do it.
Well, no, I mean, okay, so you're saying that we shouldn't be tearing down each other, and I agree. And I do get where you're coming from as far as Tyler Perry tearing people down. I think you're more or less coming from that he's tearing down men.
Right.
Because a lot of his content is anti-men.
Right.
And it's like, wow.
Right.
But Tommy Sotomayor is anti-woman. Black woman.
Right. No, and I understand that. But see, again, you have Ike Turner, you have Tina Turner. A lot of women support Tina. A lot of men support Ike because that's the namesake of what a man would do or whatever the stereotypical thing is.
Beat the hell out of a woman.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's right. No, I'm not saying that's right. But you see what I'm saying? Your nature, you don't go against your nature.
Break it on down.
So what I'm saying is, if a man is beating a woman, no, a man shouldn't beat a woman. Mm-hmm. But do I believe there does come a time when a man should beat the shit out of a woman? Yes, I do believe there does come a time. Yes, I do. She beats your mama up, she burns your house down, and she kicks your fucking dog. So don't sit there and tell me you should never. There's thousands of videos where women are being violent towards men.
Well, being a woman on this show, okay, I'm going to just say this. I agree with you that you should defend yourself. Yes.
You shouldn't be just.
I absolutely agree. You should defend yourself.
However, a woman up. Right.
I just think at all costs, as a man, you should avoid having to put your hands on a woman. I mean, I just think that.
But at all costs, a woman should not follow a man and entice him to do that.
And that's the other part. So I just want to go on the record. I don't advocate men hitting women. However, I do think men should be able to defend themselves. Like if I come up to you and I hit you, you say, you know what?
Yeah.
Stop hitting me, and then I keep on. You
and
might
that's what I mean.
To lay me out.
Right, but that's what I mean. And people think that, he's just no.
Right.
What I'm saying is, if it, as a man, even though I'm a small man, I can still whip ass on a woman.
Right. But there is to your other point, there should be accountability on the behalf of the woman, and this comes in. So this is kind of low key, very very under the table low key. How I agree with Tommy, just a small amount. Especially nowadays when you see girls, and I'll call them little girls because that's what they are to me, on these videos, and they're up in the boys' faces, and nigga, what you gonna do? You ain't gonna do this and that. I always wonder, where are they learning that from?
Right. And you have actual experience watching young girls
Yeah, I've worked at a school, little after school program that I had to just get away from. It was just total nonsense.
Right.
But I've seen it where these girls are getting up in these boys' faces and, you know, what you gonna do? And they're like
calling them faggot and all that other
it's
bullshit.
like, oh my God. So these are girls like 11, 12. So where are they learning this
And they're
from?
calling each other bitches.
And hoes. But so where are they learning it from?
Right. Obviously, you're not learning it from the man because guess what? We're nowhere around because we're deadbeats and all that other stuff.
Now you had to go there.
No, but that's the narrative that is always thrown out. So these girls are learning it from somewhere. So let's kick the reel.
No, I would say that it's more than likely that they're learning it from their mothers. You know, because let's be honest,
I love my mom to death. I learned all my curse words from my mother.
Well, but again, it's not just black women that curse in front of the kids. You shouldn't talk to your kids like that. You shouldn't talk around your kids like that. I mean, my dad always talks about how the average man knows 400 words well.
Yes.
And so when you curse, it's because I think it's, especially, I mean, I curse. But I think if that's all you do is curse, it's coming from a place of ignorance because you don't read, you don't obtain knowledge.
It is said that when a man curses because he doesn't have a vocabulary.
Because he probably knows less than 400 words well.
Right, and he can't formulate a sentence.
Right, and so it's just, and also when you're cursing at your children, it's just an immediate means of get out of my face. I don't want to be bothered with you. I don't want to sit and take a moment or two to deal with you to see how it is I can help you behave better or, you know, come to some other, you know, solution that's conducive for everybody. Get the F out of my face. And I mean, I've seen it.
These hoes, a good example, the Kanika Jenkins thing. Look at how her mother's acting and reacting and splitting on dicks and all that other stuff. How many men do you know how many men that you know that gives a damn would teach that to their daughter?
Well, I personally can't think of any man. Because see, this is the thing too. I always say this to people when they say, oh, there's no good black women out there. There's no good black men or no good whatever. I always question them as to who are you hanging around.
Exactly.
Because I don't surround myself with lackluster people. I just don't. I don't care what color they are. I'm not going to keep company with a lackluster man or a lackluster woman or any of that kind of stuff. So if all you know are no good black women and black men or whatever, then you might need to change your circle of influence. You might need to get around a better group of people.
True.
That speaks volumes about you.
True. But when we're talking about gay in Hollywood and what its portrayal is, it seems to be an explosion of gayness. And this is what I don't understand. And this is an honest assessment. I run across, let's say, a young lady, or and I'm gonna say young lady. You know, she's in her 20s, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I'm gay." I said, "Oh really?" And I'll be like, "Okay, but you have children. How are you gay? You have children.
Okay, that don't mean nothing.
But how can you be? You know, I'm not saying ignorant wise, but I'm just saying it seems to me they're more so confused." Or because they're gay, and they're gay for a quick minute, and then they go back. Okay, good example, Cheryl Swoops.
You know, I'm not gay, and I don't even feel like I need to tell you guys whether I'm gay or not. But I'm just putting it out there. I'm not gay. So what I'm saying is, I can only go off of what I've been told. A lot of women who have kids and then have gone gay, I guess if you want to say that,
gone back straight.
Gone back to say it's because they were hurt by men.
Yeah, that's where I was getting.
They were hurt by men, and so they figured
I'll be a carpet puncher.
Oh God,
I'll be a carpet puncher. Why not?
So they have went to the other side to see if that was any better. But a lot of people tell you, the lesbian relationships are just as brutal.
Brittany Griner and her girlfriend.
Wife. It was her wife.
Yeah, her wife or whatever.
Yeah.
The girl had twins or something, got pregnant, and Brittany Griner's like, I'm fucking out, bitch.
Well, yeah, but Brittany Griner had to pay child support too because you is the daddy.
Yes. So, I mean, it's crazy.
It's crazy, but
to me, it seems like it's more of a trend or something in the black community because it's. Don't get me wrong. This is the problem. That's why our children are confused with these messages that we put on social media and movies things. Because how are you? If you're born gay, and I do believe people are born gay.
How?
Well, however, the point is when you see somebody who identifies as a male, you know how it is in school. Some people were kind of like, you know, and that's how they live the lifestyle. No problem with that. I have a problem with these motherfuckers that be going back and forth.
From the download to the upload.
Make up your fucking mind. That's why we're having all these fucking diseases.
Well, you know, again, going back to the original question,
look at Belle.
There are Belle. Are you there? You straight? No, I'm just playing. Belle is the dog.
Yeah, the Wonder Pup. 5 years old. She's 5 years old.
So going back to the original question, why it's homosexuality in Hollywood and in the music industry is promoted. It is simply to annihilate black men.
Is it to annihilate black men or emasculate?
Both. It's both. Because everybody in the world knows that black people are superior genetically.
Sure.
That's a known
That's
fact.
where the organ harvesting and thing
Right.
comes into. We're going to talk about the community.
However, we don't, if I'm from a white person's point of view, we don't want them to overtake us. That's why they rally against the Mexicans so hard.
Yeah.
That's why they don't want them over here, because the Mexican has started to populate black people, and I talk about this all the time. It used to be white people, black in form of
right.
in regards to population, used to be white people, black people, Mexicans, Asians, and everybody else.
Right.
Now it's white people, Mexican, black people. So
well, it's not even white people. It's really Mexican white people.
Well, yeah, you can argue that, but so white people see what's going on.
Yeah, because you got to remember this. When we say Hispanic, remember you have light-skinned Hispanics and you have the dark-skinned Hispanics. I'll give you a good example. When you talk about Cuba, the news always shows the Gloria Estefan Cubans, the light-skinned Cubans.
Right.
But they never show you that 80% of Cubans look like me and you, and they support Fidel Castro and what was going on.
Right,
over
absolutely.
there. You know?
Absolutely.
They never show you that.
Right.
You go to Panama, Spanish-speaking people, they look like us.
Right. Absolutely. So I mean, yeah, that's why homosexuality in the black community, especially in Hollywood, is promoted. We want to ramrod this message into the community. And Lee Daniels said it himself, the black community needs to get comfortable with homosexuality. For so long they've been, and I don't know how he said it, but I can imagine, you know, for so long the black community has been homophobic, and they need to understand. So when he was producing Empire, he said that was his mission, to open the eyes and the minds of the black community, because we are homophobic and it's gay is here to stay, and we need to dislike it.
Gays have been here since day one. There's no doubt about that. Why the fuck do we need to know what you do in your bedroom and how you do it? Why do we need to do that? I mean, Dee, you and Al been dating for I don't know how long. You have never once shared with me your sexual experiences and all that other stuff, and nor do I care.
Right, and so and that's an excellent point that you made. I mean, it should be nobody's business. That's why I say when people always ask me, what do I think about homosexuality? I don't think anything about
of it either.
Because I'm a straight woman. I can't focus on me being a straight woman and then worry about you being gay. That's on you.
Right. If you're homo, that's good for you, but that's not my cup of tea.
Do you?
Right. But I don't need to hear about it.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. But so that is his attitude, that we need to get one with the homosexuality. We need to stop being so homophobic. And I hate that word, because I think that people can be homophobic and where they are hateful and all that.
I am homophobic. I mean, let's call it what it is. I'm homophobic. I'm not saying I will beat you up. I have relatives that are probably gay.
I think that term gets misappropriated a lot.
Misappropriated.
If you don't agree with it,
I don't.
Then you're homophobic.
Right.
Listen, I cannot agree with what you're doing, but I can still accept you.
Right. Okay. Let's take that homophobic bullshit and then let's apply it to Muslims. Why is everybody so anti-Muslim in the United States?
Because white people have put it out there that you should be scared of Muslims and that they're going to do something to you, which is why now you have somebody like Trump who has put out the ban on Muslims. And, you know, as we talked about on my show this past Sunday, the new term, the B-I-E, Black Identity Extremist, which if you are a black activist, you are now being targeted. Like it did in COINTELPRO with the Black Panthers and, you know, your Marcus Garveys and all those entities and organizations. You're now being targeted because they're saying that there's been an uptick, and it's not, and it's false, of police officers being murdered due to police officers being exonerated for murdering black people.
Okay, I'm going to say this, and I don't give a fuck who agrees with it or not.
You are on one today.
No, I am on one today because I'm sick and tired of the ignorance that's out there. If you're a police officer and you're afraid for your safety and shit, you need to get another fucking profession.
Okay, but listen, because I totally agree with you. But if you follow, listen, look up Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She talked about this. Even up to the day, not the day, but right before she passed, she talked about police brutality and that police officers get away with killing innocent black people because it's like, well, they're doing us a favor, whether we know it or not. We're helping them get rid of the black man. That's why they get, I mean, we've seen countless cases of these dudes killing black people.
For all the ignorant people out there, do your research. And the only reason we have a police department is called the military. We don't have a national police department. We have local jurisdictions and all that other stuff like that. Police departments were formed from these guys that would go and get slaves, runaway fugitive slaves. And that's how you got your police department, because you didn't need, in a white community back in those days, you didn't need a police department because everybody knew each other as a community. But when the slaves were invented and they were running away, they formed these militias or these patrols to go and retrieve property. And that is exactly what the police departments still do to this very day.
Yep, you are no better than a cardboard box that has, something in it. You're like you said, we're property, and so you see that with police officers dealing with black people with no regard to life whatsoever. Tamir Rice, poor kid, was in the park. Within three seconds
of coming out of the car,
shot the baby dead on the spot because they saw that he had a gun, which it wasn't a gun, in an open and carry state.
Now, and this goes back to my thing of that bullshit about this us versus them mentality. If you're a police officer, okay, and you are afraid, I want to get home to my family, you need to find another fucking profession.
Get a desk job.
Because by being a police officer, you are putting yourself in a position to be killed. So if you don't want to be killed, don't become a police officer. Don't join the military.
They're not really afraid for their life. That's just the go-to excuse. Bet you by God, I was scared.
And here's another thing. If you're doing something that is lawful, and let's say like photography, and somebody comes up, a police officer says, this is what they do. This is a key word. You can see all kinds of videos on YouTube about it. They'll go, well, with the environment today, what's going on in the world with terrorism, when was the last time there was a terrorist fucking incident in Boise, Idaho?
Right.
Riverside, California.
Right.
They use this to disarm you of your rights.
Well, who's the real terrorist, though?
Right. How many
committed
Americans have been killed this year versus terrorists killing Americans? Think about that.
And how many white men have been doing the terrorizing?
So think about what we're talking about. So all you ignorant people out there that are seeing and saying, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Think about what I just said, Chirac. Why are we calling it Chirac? They are enclosing you guys, as long as the violence is going in a certain area of the south side of Chicago, do you really think they give a fuck? The minute that problem spills outside, spills over, watch how they come out there with their guns and billy clubs to quell that violence.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I was in Chicago a few years back, and it's this clear line of demarcation. Mm-hmm. On one side is all the the Miracle Mile with all these high-end shops. You can see white people walking down the avenue with their fur coats. I kid you not, and dogs. But if
not a care in the world.
You venture a little bit further, because I'm not really good with geographics. But on the side of the tracks, I kid you not, I saw sirens and ambulances. Mm-hmm. It was just like two different worlds. It's like they could look across the street and look into each other's worlds, but like you said, the minute it crosses, it's on and cracking.
So they call it Chirac. And think about this. Why are they militarizing the police departments all over the place? Because they are trying to concentrate you. People say, oh, we're in a free country. This country's not free. It's never been free. Not for us.
Right.
They're trying to, like these New York people, I'm in a borough. There's no difference between your borough in New York and then what's going on in South Africa in the Soweto sweat towns, whatever you call those things. Long as you niggas stay in your little neighborhoods and your little concentration camps, there's no problem. But the minute you venture out there, you go to Beverly Hills as a black man looking as a typical rapper, look on your watch and tell me how quickly the police will stop you and ask you, hey, what are you doing? Oh, we're just asking you questions
You
because...
must be lost, ain't you?
Right. Or no, they'll just say, oh, we're just asking you questions, and all you're doing is walking on the sidewalk.
Right.
We're just asking you a question, because what's going on in the world with the terrorism? You understand our position, don't you? No, motherfucker, I don't.
Right. But we are in 2017. Can you believe that? 2017. You know what? I speak to my daughter every morning, and we talk about this stuff because I want her, and she's very awake, very, very awake. So I give that to my daughter, very awake. But I told her, I said, at the rate black people are going, if we don't wake up and get our stuff together, we are going to be back on the plantation.
Yes. Well, the thing is, technically, we're already doing that, and I want to address young black men as an older black man. Yes, I'm an old fool, and you're a young genius. But here's the problem. When we were coming up, it wasn't a badge of honor to go to jail. That was something you avoided at all costs.
It was shame.
Yes. These kids are now walking into jail like it's no big deal. Oh, God, in the second hour, I'm going to talk about it in the second hour. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about. Kanika Jenkins' mom, she has a boyfriend. She's in a relationship. I did some research. I did my homework.
Oh, boy.
And we're going to talk about it in the second hour, but I'm going to give you a little hint. Her boyfriend is a convicted murderer.
Really?
Really.
Wow. There's levels to this.
Yes. He's a convicted murderer. I'm not saying he had anything to do with that girl's murder.
Right.
But what I'm saying is you have a daughter in your home, and the guy got convicted back in 1993.
Oh, okay. And so we need to talk about
Second
that.
hour. But here's my point where I'm going with that. If I was a woman, or if I was you, D, and I come to you and say, hey, how you doing, sister? You looking good? Oh, man, look at all that rump. Oh, my goodness. And I say that to my boo, Afro Thunder Locks. I'm going to get you, freshman. Anyway, that's her sister, her little sister. But anyway, if I come to you and say, oh, yeah, well, by the way, I was convicted of murder.
Like, that's nice. Hey, you know what? See you around or not?
What rational person, I understand, it's different if I was convicted of murder, manslaughter, it was an accident in a car, or something like that. And there's a story to this guy. But that's what I'm saying. Why are our women dealing with these guys that have, and I didn't make the rules, you have a felony conviction, it's with you for the rest. It's just like, okay, I'm a military man. You get kicked out of the military, dishonorable discharge, that hurts you for the rest of your life.
Right. I don't know. You know, like I always say this because you just talk about you being an older man. I'm a
younger older woman.
Younger woman. When I was young, I did some silly things, but it's like I said, when you know better, you do better. But I think when you get with a person like that, I'm not saying everybody, people don't deserve a second chance. I'm not saying that. But especially when you do have young kids, you do need to be careful who you allow around your children.
And that goes back into what Tommy video.
Yes, I did. That's the video that I happened to watch. It was some lady had stabbed her baby daddy because she came home and caught him in bed naked with her 15-year-old daughter. Turns out that he was a repeat jailbird, and
she went and got another job.
She was working 2 jobs. And this was out of her own mouth, so this is not Tommy.
Right.
It's out of her own mouth. She had 2 jobs working overnight to support the family because he was unemployed. She came home early one night and found him in bed with her daughter, and she stabbed him up. And they also have 3 kids, I think, together.
Yeah, 3 kids together.
But Tommy,
and he wasn't abusing those kids.
Yeah, well, Tommy didn't make the point, and again, I'm not a Tommy fan. But
she's not a Tommy fan.
He did make a good point in that why do we not? And this is not just a black woman thing. It's a woman thing who don't know her worth. Why do we bring those type of men around our children? And then bring them in a home. I don't even understand why you would go overnight to work and leave your teenage daughter with your boyfriend, not her father, but
with
your
a man
boyfriend.
That is not her father or a family member. Well, you don't want to be a family member, but not her father.
And in all fairness, too, not to even defend it, but I just can't imagine her thinking, well, he's gonna do something to my daughter. I'm sure she went to work thinking everything is gonna be fine. obviously she did. I mean, although
I had a stepdaughter, and I put the rules down that there's certain things, you know, that wasn't going to happen. We're not going to be in the house by ourselves together. We're not, and not that I had anything, but I wanted to protect myself.
Everybody.
Yeah, protecting everybody. And that's the way it was going to be, because I didn't want any allegations. Because you know how kids are, sometimes they don't get their way, and the next thing you know,
he looked at me,
yes,
mama.
or he did this, or he did that.
It's most definitely, you want to always be proactive. Not saying that like you said, nothing was going to go on. I just don't want to be caught in a situation that may look suspect. I don't want the child to misinterpret anything, so let's just not.
Right.
You know, which is it's crazy.
And there was incidents where she would come home, and I might come home from a flight from work, and she's in the house, and I see that she's in the house with her brother, and I would leave. I go to the gym or do something.
Right, until your mama
right,
get home.
until her mom got home. So, you know.
It is not being paranoid, it's being proactive.
Right, and that's not my daughter. It's simple as that.
Being proactive.
So, you know, we have that thing going on, but she is not a Tommy supporter. But again, these are some of the stories that Tommy puts out and points out. And basically all he's saying is, look at what we're doing.
Okay, I don't think that's all Tommy's
No, I know,
saying.
but you know what I'm saying.
I think I stick to my guns on this. I think Tommy, not that we even I don't like talking about Tommy, but since he brought him up, Tommy is making money. At the end of the day, that is his main priority. At the end of the day, Tommy is making money off of demeaning black women. End of the story. He has an audience for it.
Yes, and like you said, that's why we have this show to debunk.
Right. I mean, and there's some truth to what he's saying. However,
you have your show to debunk.
Yeah, and I don't even care to debunk what he's saying. But
and you can donate to D at PayPal.
No, the unfortunate part, though, about Tommy is that he does have a rather large following of people who, you know.
And here you are trying to bring this brother's hustle down.
I'm not trying to bring him down. And just either educate yourself. You know,
right.
The black woman is the most coveted woman on the planet. I'll just go on to this factoid right here.
Okay, tell me.
You know sports. What's the coach's name of the Miami Dolphins? That just got caught up with some crack.
Oh no! That was the offensive line coach.
Okay, whatever he was.
Yeah, he was offensive line coach.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And he was being offensive.
He got caught on camera, film, whatever, smoking some lines, and he was sending it to his black chocolate boo thing.
Yes.
Who actually said, "Okay, I got you. I'm fighting white supremacy," so she released it.
Yeah. Well.
Big up, sister.
Wait a minute. It's a known fact. We have a lot of mixed nuts out here from slavery that white men, black women are sexualized.
White men love black
sisters.
women.
Yes,
don't listen, white women. Don't believe the hype. White men love black women.
They love you, but they won't marry you when it comes to their money.
Well, there's a George Lucas.
Yeah. Robert De Niro.
They got lots of dollars, and who they with?
Yeah, but guess what? Robert De Niro's about to get rid of his black chick.
And get him another one. And get him another one, boo. Because come on, go back in history.
I know. No, don't get me wrong.
He chocolate.
But see, that's another reason why I think Hollywood and entertainment is over-sexualizing our women.
Well, it's not just Hollywood. Black women have been overly sexualized since slavery.
Right.
That's how,
exactly.
You know, there are a lot of mixed babies running around, even from back then.
Well, I'm just going to say this before we go into our second hour. I'm a big fan of Pam Grier, and it is on my bucket list. She's a year older than my mother, and I would date her right now. But anyway.
You can handle no Pam.
No, you know, just kick it with her. No, but the thing is, I'm a big fan of hers. You're a big fan of hers.
I love Pam Grier.
And I just got her Twitter thing, and I'm going to send her a message because I want to get a photo. You know,
he's going to stalk Pam.
I'm not going to stalk her. I just want to get a photo. And you know, what can you do? Wait, we're even saying it wrong. It's not even Pam. It's Dr. Grier. She has a doctorate.
Go ahead, girl.
We're going to talk about that again in the second hour, but I just got her information. I'm going to ask her to give me a signed autograph print, and we're going to talk about that in the second hour. Loving the skin I'm in.